Lake Erie Crushers baseball is now in full swing at Forefront Field in Avon, Ohio. Bring the whole family out for post-game fireworks every Friday and Saturday, dollar dogs on Saturdays, and family fun day every Sunday where kids 12 and under get to eat for free. Tune in here this Friday for a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets, courtesy of Lorain County Visitors Bureau. Tickets for the entire season at Forefront Field are on sale now at LakeErieCrushers.com.
All right, guys, so Brendan Sorsby.
Yes, sir.
Is a name that's been bounced around a little bit. Yesterday became official that the NCAA denied his request for reinstatement for eligibility. Sorsby completed his 35-day inpatient rehab for his gambling and will return, or the gambling addiction, and will return to campus in the upcoming days. But he's been shut down. He's out. So we think that he's going to be in the supplemental draft. Does anybody think the Browns should spend a pick on Brendan Sorsby? And if so, what pick should they spend?
I mean, listen, Sorsby's a good player. I never had him as like an elite prospect, even though, I mean, Texas Tech is paying him like he's an elite prospect. I didn't think that what he did at Cincinnati warranted the big payday he got from Texas Tech, but Texas Tech didn't have a quarterback. That's what held them back this season as you watch the playoffs and how they fell apart against Oregon. I personally would probably pass on the supplemental draft. We all remember that back in the day, the Browns made a pick in Josh Gordon supplemental draft. They made a pick on Bernie Kosar way back in the day. That's how they found their quarterback, you know, for the late 80s and 90s. And, I mean, look, if they do it, I'm not going to criticize it because the Browns don't have a quarterback, I feel like, right now, at least, you know, in terms of that room. But I probably would pass.
G. Bush.
I said this earlier. I would pass. Like, I hope, you know, he got out of rehab. I think he said he finished his stint.
Yeah.
So
I'm not even worried about that.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm talking about just his ability.
Yeah, like on ability, I think he has some talent. I think, could he be a professional quarterback? Yeah, but I think he was raw in Cincinnati, and you know, the thing I worry about and question is, what would the NFL say, right? So he's not reinstated to play college football, and is that because of the gambling, or is it because
it's a gambling because he got busted when he was at IU before he got to Cincinnati, and he placed a wager. I guess it was something small, like on a game that Indiana was playing on.
Okay, so if the league has been kind of consistent on, hey, if you get suspended, he could end up on the commissioner's exempt list. I don't know if the league is going to, you know, rule on that, but the league very much could say, okay, well, let's look at what you did and put you on the exempt list. So for me, from a standpoint of it, look, I'm too far ahead of this thing. I'm too far into it. You got a quarterback competition is it right now. You got an experimental quarterback in Taylor Green that you just drafted out of Arkansas. You got another young dude in Dylan Gabriel. Got another dude in Shedeur Sanders who's young. I would pass on it, but would I be surprised if some other team jumped in to take a flyer on them? Sure, but if I was the Browns, I would pass.
I think it's a terrible fit for the Browns. I would not do it. If they do, it better be a 5th-round pick or later. I would not do anything higher than that. But if I'm a good team that sees something in this guy for the future, I'll throw in a draft pick for him. The Browns are enough of a mess. They got enough drama, enough nonsense involved with this team. I just don't think this. I don't know. I would stay away. I would stay away, and I don't think I'll be very surprised if the Browns put in a supplemental pick for him. Very surprised, but I bet somebody will.
Yeah, somebody will. If you look, you got to take a look at it. I mean, we still trying to figure out what's going on with Deshaun Watson. We ain't heard from Deshaun Watson yet. Like in camp, we've had. It seems like the Browns are a team, and I will say this: they're a team that gives people second opportunities. They've had the Kareem Hunts. They've had other guys, the Isaiah Bonds. You know, even the allegation with Rashad Junkins. I just think, at Mike Hall. At this point, I would be hands off. Gambling is a thing where, hey, listen, the gambling part isn't the alarming thing. It's the gambling on your own team. And I can see where that kind of, and the NFL has been staunch against, hey, There's one cardinal sin. We still ain't even seen Pete Rose. Pete Rose ain't in the Hall of Fame. And now I'm not saying Pete Rose was gambling to the level of him. Pete Rose multiple times gambled, and he was the manager of the team. But for me, I would say, nah, I'm okay. We're going to roll what we got and figure it out. And then if they don't hit this year, you go get you a quarterback next year.
Do you like the idea of a supplemental draft? Just as a premise, take Sorsby out of the equation.
Yeah, I got no problem.
Yeah, I have no problem with it. It rarely comes into play.
I actually think players should be allowed. I think in the NBA and in the NFL, players should, if they're not a first-round pick, maybe in football you say if you're not a top 3-round pick, basketball first-round pick, you should be able to go back to college and not lose your eligibility.
I agree with that.
If you're a low pick. Because you're only penalizing, by not letting, you're penalizing the player. Why? What is the reason for that? I think if you're an NBA,
if you enter the draft and go in the 5th round,
you should be able to go back to college.
See who drafted you.
In baseball, you can
go
back.
back.
In baseball, you even if you're a first-round pick in baseball,
facts.
You can go back to college.
Now, see, so the thing is, like, actually, that makes a lot of sense because the picks are already slotted. It's not like, remember the money when people used to just, rookies would come out and be $100 million. They don't got, all the picks are slotted now. So if you were a guy that says, okay, well, I was going to come out, I got eligibility left, I'm going to try my luck, and I go in the 4th round, just go back to school. Yeah. I don't want to see what the problem is with that.
I got no problem.
I'm just now thinking out loud here, and this may not make a ton of sense, but let's say a receiver from, we'll use Ohio State. A receiver from Ohio State leaves, goes to the draft, doesn't get drafted to the 5th round. Ryan Day and company still have to fill that spot, not knowing if this kid's coming back or not. Yeah. They bring in another receiver, then he comes back. There's going to be...
He should have the option.
No, I understand him having the option. I'm saying the backlog of players who now move to Ohio State thinking that could be playing time for them. Would that make the
I don't think this is going to happen all that often, but
with the portal that happens
every day.
Those guys can go somewhere else.
They're like, I like you. No, I don't. You didn't give me no reps.
Even if you're further down the depth chart at Ohio State, somebody somewhere else will pay you.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're the last wide receiver at Ohio State.
Well, I was just using that as an example.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Anywhere.
But I don't know. I just have always felt that. In the NBA, certainly if you're a second-round pick, if you still have eligibility. Obviously, if you're a senior or whatever, nowadays it's like you get 6 years, you got whatever. If you have no more eligibility, then you got to go.
Yeah.
But I would give the option of, in the NFL, I'd probably cut it after, either 3 or 4 rounds. I'd let guys
5
go
through
back.
7, so back half of the draft.
Right. Yeah.
I could see that. Do you think a team will use a top day 1 or day 2 draft pick on Sorsby in the supplemental draft?
Definitely not. Nobody's using a first-round pick. He's not that sure a thing.
No, I don't think so.
I would.
Maybe 3rd round.
3rd.
Right, 3rd
somewhere
to 5th, right? I think somebody.
3rd is about as high as I think.
Especially if you're a good team and you're likely picking late, and that's all. Now you're around pick 90 to 100.
Then I got to make me some calls because I can't use.
You got.
I can't use no pick. I'm going to call the league office now. Listen, how likely is it that he's going to be able to play?
Well, and if he's only going to be suspended for a few games, who cares? He's not going to start next year anyway. But could this be a 2-year ban, an unlimited ban? Yeah, then I'm not wasting a pick.
It shouldn't be a 2-year ban.
Probably not.
I'm young enough to remember it was 6 games. And then that turned into 11.
It hurts. True, but in this case, the difference between 6 and 11 is meaningless because he's not playing.
Yeah, but he probably won't pay it.
Yeah.
Albert Breer was on with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin yesterday. Yeah. He had this quote on the situation. Quote, if you're going to draft Brendan Sorsby, you need to do it with the idea that he's going to redshirt this season.
Yeah.
Right.
I think he's fascinating. I think there are people who I really respect in this industry who think he would be could be a top 5 pick in next year's draft. The varying opinions on Sorsby are crazy because we've heard anything. Brugler says doesn't have as a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Whoever Breer's talking to, potential top 5. I think if you do take him, it has to be with a red shirt.
Yeah, but he's saying potential top 5 depending on how another year went, but he's not going to have that opportunity. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Listen, man, quarterbacks is crazy. I thought when Drew Aller and Cade Klubnik was supposed to be like that was it. Like, think about it. If you would have said, hey, if somebody say, hey, would you take Cade Klubnik the year prior and say, hey, would you take Cade Klubnik in the 2nd round? People say draft him today.
Yeah, right.
Like, what are you talking about? He could be a top 5 pick.
And what did he end up? 5th round? 6th round? What was it?
Didn't one of them? Did Nussmeier get picked or Aller win?
I think they all got picked eventually.
They all got Aller was 3rd round. Nussmeier was 5th round to the Chiefs.
Wow.
Klubnik was a 4th round of the Jets. The Jets traded up in the 4th round to get Klubnik.
Yeah, man.
Think back to like our boy Matt Barkley. Remember he was supposed to be the top pick, and
Bro.
did he go like 4th round?
Yeah.
Jimmy Clausen. Remember?
Lost in the 2nd round though.
Yeah.